Hey everyone, welcome back to another deep dive with us.
Yeah, it's great to be here,
You're interested in online content creation and how it all began.
especially podcasting. We're going way back.
Exactly. We're looking at a snippet from Tino Take 96.
From Tindaro Martino Curion's YouTube channel.
That's right. He talks about his early fascination with radio.
Back then, that's how everyone listened to AM and FM radio.
It was the only way to really reach a large audience.
The main way, at least.
But then Tindaro saw online audio emerging.
Yeah, and that was a huge shift.
It was like a whole new world opening up.
For sure. A way to bypass the gatekeepers.
The media gatekeepers, the executives, the program directors.
The people who decided what everyone else got to hear.
And that was the start of something amazing.
The democratization of media.
Anyone with a computer and internet could be a broadcaster.
That's a big deal.
It really is.
Yeah.
It meant that it wasn't about who you knew anymore.
Or how much money you had.
It was about the quality of your content.
And your ability to connect with an audience.
It levered the playing field.
Exactly. And we saw all these niche communities start to flourish online.
Like podcasts dedicated to incredibly specific topics.
Things you would have never heard on traditional radio.
Which is amazing when you think about it. All these different voices and perspectives.
And Tindaro was right there in the thick of it.
He talks about using SoundClick to host his audio.
SoundClick? That was for music, wasn't it?
Yeah, a music hosting site. But he found a way to use it for long-form audio.
Which was pretty ingenious considering the limitations at the time.
SoundClick had these limits on file sizes.
Megabytes were precious back then.
So he adjusted the audio quality to make it
It's hacking the system, basically.
Finding workarounds? It's fascinating to see that kind of resourcefulness.
It speaks to the DIY spirit of those early podcasters.
They didn't have fancy studios or expensive equipment.
They were figuring things out on the fly.
And that brings us to another interesting point Tindaro makes about digital storage.
How it's evolved so drastically.
He compares megabytes to pennies. Something that used to seem like a lot is now practically worthless.
We're in the world of terabytes and petabytes now.
It's mind-boggling how quickly things have changed.
He even tells a story about a computer science teacher
who said that reaching terabytes of storage was impossible.
Imagine that. We just goes to show how limited our thinking can be when it comes to technology.
It's like trying to predict the future. You never know what breakthroughs are just around the corner.
And that's what makes this whole journey so exciting.
There's always something new to discover.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned. We're going to keep diving deeper into Tindaro's story and see what other insights he has to share about the evolution of online content creation.
This is just the beginning. Yeah, it's amazing to think about where we started, SoundClick and limited storage.
And all that tinkering. Yeah, it's come a long way.
Tindaro's journey really shows us how much the media landscape has changed.
It does.
Yeah.
And one of the big turning points he talks about is YouTube.
YouTube. That's when things really took off.
Video content became huge.
It wasn't just about audio anymore.
YouTube gave people a platform to share videos with the whole world.
And it was still early days for the internet.
Like the idea of user-generated content going viral.
That was all pretty new.
Right? Tindaro mentioned some of the big names that emerged around that time.
Oh, yeah. Like
creators like Joe Rogan.
Oh, wow.
And Valuetainment.
They built massive followings online.
Completely bypassing traditional media.
And what's interesting is they came from all sorts of backgrounds.
They weren't necessarily media personalities before that.
Just people with a passion and a message.
And YouTube gave them a way to reach an audience.
It really leveled the playing field.
Like Joe Rogan started as a comedian and UFC commentator.
And he built this huge following just by sharing his thoughts and conversations online.
It's pretty remarkable.
It shows the power of authenticity, I think.
People crave that genuine connection.
Even online.
And it wasn't just newcomers who were drawn to online platforms.
No. You saw established figures from traditional media making the move, too.
Tindaro talks about Tucker Carlson specifically.
Moving to online broadcasting.
Looking for more independence.
And a direct connection with their audience.
It's blurring the lines between traditional media and online content creation.
It's a two-way street now.
With established figures going online.
And online creators gaining mainstream recognition.
It's a real shift in power.
So what does all this mean for the future of news and information?
That's a great question. Will traditional media outlets adapt?
Or will they be overshadowed by independent online creators?
It's hard to say for sure.
But audiences have more choices than ever before.
We can get our news and information from so many different sources.
Each with their own perspective and biases.
It's empowering, but also challenging.
We need to be more critical consumers of information.
No matter where we're getting it from.
Absolutely. We can't just passively absorb everything we see and hear.
We have to think critically
Consider multiple perspectives.
and ask ourselves some key questions.
Like, who created this content?
What's their agenda?
And where's their evidence?
It's about taking responsibility for our own media consumption.
That's a great point. Tindaro's story is a fantastic example of how someone navigated these evolving tides of content creation.
He really has. And his journey isn't over yet.
He still has more to share about his experience and the insights he's gained along the way.
We've been on quite a journey with Tindaro, haven't we?
We have, from those early days of SoundClick.
To YouTube and beyond. It's amazing how much has changed.
The online content creation world is constantly evolving.
And Tindaro's been there through it all, adapting and evolving along the way.
You know, what's really striking is how he comes full circle in this last part.
What do you mean?
Well, after all this time navigating platforms and algorithms,
Right.
he comes back to something really basic.
Okay.
The simple joy of sharing his thoughts and ideas.
Like getting back to the roots of why he started.
Exactly, that core desire to connect with people.
That's never changed for him.
It's a good reminder for all of us, I think.
What do you mean?
Content creation is about connection at its heart.
Sharing our perspectives with the world.
Right. Even with all the noise and chaos online, that human need to connect still shines through.
It's inspiring to see.
And Tindaro's story also shows us the importance of persistence.
Not giving up on your passion.
Exactly. Even when things get tough.
He embraced the changes, experimented with new tools.
And found his way back to what mattered most.
That's a powerful lesson for anyone, really.
Whether you're a content creator or just a curious consumer.
The world is always changing. We have to adapt.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Tindaro's journey,
Okay.
I want to leave you with this thought.
Right.
He started by wanting to share his thoughts and ideas with the world.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts and ideas? What stories do you want to share?
Everyone has something to contribute.
And there are so many tools available today to help you do that.
Like what?
Blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos. The possibilities are endless.
Tindaro's story shows us that the journey is just as important as the destination.
So go out there, experiment, create, connect, share your voice with the world.
That's what it's all about.
That's all for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.